All right, I'm going to do it.
Hey, cinema crackheads! You're listening to the third tastefully tubular episode of
Don't Spill the Popcorn! My name's Joe.
And I'm Dylan.
And we're two independent filmmakers who have worked together many years, here to bring you honest, critical, and enjoyable movie reviews on exclusively new films only.
You can currently reach us with any comments or concerns or corrections at don'tspillthepopcorn@gmail.com or on our Facebook and Instagram pages. You are now also able to listen to us across all platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, and more.
One thing I did want to let you listeners know, we are working on a Patreon. It is on the way. We do want to figure out some way to give you bonus content, be able to set you up for individual rewards for signing up for a certain pledge amount that gives you benefits towards, say, early episode hearing or a shout out on here. Button stickers, etc., things like that. So we're trying to work on figuring out some ways to be able to get you guys some extra good stuff while also helping us be able to sustain and maintain this podcast, because there are some expenses to keep us running, including the fact that since we do watch new films, we usually are paying out of pocket to watch these new films. So with a little bit of your help, that also helps us to be able to continue getting out as many episodes as possible, as well as getting a little bit of money to help us get our episodes transcribed so that our episodes can be available for those that are hard of hearing and the deaf. Today, my friends, listeners, family, human beings, terrestrials, etc., we are diving into Cruella. She's here. She's back. And is she meaner than ever, Dylan? Is she meaner than ever? I don't know. That we're going to get there. I have some thoughts.
We're definitely going to get there.
I definitely have some thoughts about all of this altogether, because I tell you what, there are expectations that I had that were not met, and there were expectations that I had that were definitely met. So Cruella, man. Cruella, man. That's what we're doing here. So that's going to be the movie for today. Episode number 3 is here, and we're going to be hitting you off right now into our third round of news.
News. I'm really excited about this one because it is about Scream 5. And anybody that knows me knows that Scream is my favorite movie. In general, all of the Scream films are just amazing to me. I love them. So, update with Scream 5. They have now a picture lock, and the music is also completed for this film. So we're getting closer and closer to a finished product, and I can't wait. In addition to using like they would have to make scripts and stuff like that, like multiple scripts, and they've done that since Scream 2, because they've made a script for Scream 2 back in the day, and it was leaked and ruined the whole thing, so they had to redo a whole new script, and I think they even had to refilm some stuff for Scream 2.
That's rough.
And so now, yeah, that would suck really bad. So now they always try to keep it secret, and they make multiple scripts and stuff like that, and this is not any different than the rest when it comes to making multiple scripts. But this one also went the extra mile and made multiple cuts of the film. So Gillett, and don't get mad if I pronounce this guy's name wrong, but Gillett and Bettinelli Olpin, they were the directors.
That's a rough one.
That is a rough one. But they were both directors on this, and they were simultaneously cutting, multiple cuts of this film. So just to keep it a secret, but obviously now that we're at a picture lock and the music's been scored, hopefully it doesn't get leaked, because at this point there's no trying to hide what the actual final cut is. What's also really exciting about this is the main characters from the previous 4 films, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette, are all coming back to reprise their roles, which is also super, super exciting for me. Although I do think that they are not going to be in it as much as they were for the previous 4 films. I think it's going to be like kind of like, here we are for a little bit, whether they die right away or whatever the case may be. I think that they're not going to be in it as much as I would hope. But we'll see, because apparently this film's got a lot of stuff going for it. And then Courtney Cox was just recently on the Drew Barrymore show, where she talked a little bit about Scream 5, and she said that it's not a reboot, it's not a remake, it's a brand new launch, and she thinks it's going to be fantastic. Scream 5 is scheduled to release on January 14th, 2022, and I think it's going to be released with the name Scream. No 5 involved, it's just going to be plain just Scream.
No 5. No 5, huh?
No 5. So I guess it's not a remake, though. Apparently it's not a remake and it's not a reboot, but it's called Scream.
So we're going to safely assume it's a continuation then.
Yes, it's definitely a continuation, and I think there's going to be some callbacks to even the original film. I think they're going to have some more people from the original films who might have even died or whatever back, and they might de-age them or do something. I think there's going to be some retelling of some history from the previous film. So I'm actually really excited for this. I think it's going to be a really good one.
How excited are you, dude? This is your number one jam. This is like the love of your life right here.
I'm super pumped. I remember when you and I and a whole bunch of our friends went to a screening to see Scream 4, and I had like the mask on and everything. I was super pumped. I mean, that was 11 years I waited for that. And now it's pretty much the same situation.
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome, man. I am very excited as well. I definitely, since the only times that I've really ever watched those movies is when you force-fed them to me when you were still living at mom and dad's house, which, I mean, I'm thankful that you did force feed them to me, because they are fantastic, but you know me and I don't remember shit about them, so I got to watch them again. Got to look them over. Well, the only other thing for news, it seems like it's pretty quiet over here in the news section. Don't have a lot going on, not much at all. So the only other thing that I have to say, which is still noteworthy, and I'm actually excited for it, is there is a comedy coming out next year. And just kind of like the Dungeons and Dragon thing, I was kind of surprised that I felt like bringing up something. But I guess if there's anything that's notable that feels, that might be interesting to see. I never actually thought about seeing Jack Black and Ice Cube together. Those are actually two pretty funny guys, but they have two completely different senses of humor. Like Ice Cube is kind of like that kind of stoic, but for some reason, it kind of has that deadpan funniness to it, whereas Jack Black is like fucking crazy all over the
whimsical.
Yeah, whimsical is definitely, that's the thing. I love Jack Black, so I guess it's just some about those.
He's good. I like him.
Whimsical things about people that I just tend to like. So yeah, Jack Black, Ice Cube coming out in this new movie here. The movie is going to be called Oh Hell No. It is a Sony film, and it is planned to be released July 1st, summer 2022. So the only thing that I've seen that has anything to do with the story that already has me laughing is there's just some sort of situation. The reason why Jack Black and Ice Cube meet each other, I guess in some way, sort or form, they are friends, and Jack Black ends up falling in love with Ice Cube's mother.
I thought you were going to say Ice Cube, and I was going to say that would have been like the weirdest thing. Just them two, like their chemistry would be so weird.
Especially with the first time that they're together and they have to do love scenes.
Oh my God, that'd be great though. That would have been funny too. But I think the mother thing's pretty cool.
So yeah, that is apparently going to be funny. It sounds like it's going to be funny. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to forget about it up until I finally see some sort of promotion for it. But as of right now, since I know about it, super stoked on that.
Yeah, I'm always down for a Jack Black film.
Always. And Sony loves Jack Black. Ever since they brought him on for the Jumanji movies, he's done so well for them, and he's just kind of become a part of the big old Sony family. Shooting it over your way, Dylan, to kind of get into our personal section. Things seem to be moving along at the top of the show a little bit quicker this time around. Like I said, the crickets are out. Nothing going on. So is there anything going on with you, my friend?
Me personally, I am about to start my next job as a set painter on a show that's going to be filming here in Pittsburgh.
Secret.
Yeah, secret. I got a secret. And this one I kind of jumped in on at last minute because I have another one that I'm going to be doing later on. But yeah, so I'm going to be starting that, and it's going to be, we're going to have to shuffle around our schedule a little bit. At least me, I'm going to have to shuffle around my schedule to try to get some of these done, but we're going to do our best. We're going to get these out to you.
Yes, so bear with us, friends, because life happens and life is hard, and we're taking time out of our days for free to put this content out there, and we're just doing it for fun. So we're not, I know there might be times where we're really consistent with it, and there might be times where it might be a little bit before we put stuff out there. So I thought that at some point in one of our first episodes that it would be important to put that caveat out there that just so you know, there might be times where this doesn't come out regularly. And that's another reason why we do kind of want to get into a Patreon too, because if we do receive some sort of support from the people who do like this content, that does help motivate and give us time to be able to create this content. And the more help that we get, and the more creative that we can get, and the more time that we can have to be more creative.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm hoping that at some point that we can do, we can set up an actual show where it's like we all sit down and we watch a movie with a group of people, and then we sit on a stage and have a couple microphones and do the review that we kind of do right now, but just in front of people for funsies.
Yeah, that would be.
I just feel like that would be a good
cool.
time.
Maybe have a few beers, sit in front of the stage and just talking to an audience. I've heard it done with other podcasts before, and they always seem like they have so much fun. And I would love to have that live interaction at some point.
Yeah. So who knows? If there's anybody out there that's interested in that thing, where to hit us up at good old don'tspillthepopcorn@gmail.com.
My other current events that I got going on in my life. So we jokingly were talking about Dead Pixels, and we keep bringing up Dead Pixels in every episode somehow. But the first episode, we talked about, we covered Army of the Dead, and they were known for their Dead Pixels. Well, we joked around, and we were saying how that they should have fixed it, and everything like that, blah blah blah. Well, now we are kind of suffering for it. I guess karma's biting us in the ass, because our current film that we're working on, didn't realize until after rendering it out to check the footage out that we have a dead pixel on every shot. So I'm going to have to go through and fix every clip separately, and I don't know how much work. I'm going to have to look up how to do it again because it's been a while since I had to fix a dead pixel. So yeah, that's what I got going on.
It was so close. It was so close to being easy.
It's never easy.
So close to being easy, man. It was right there. It was right in your goddamn fingertips, man.
So far away. It just slipped through. Oh, well. It's just part of it. I mean, it could have been worse, I guess. We'll just hopefully can figure it out, and we don't leave it up like Army of the Dead did. How about you, Joe? What you got going on in your life? What's some current events?
Well, right now I am planning out doing some sort of little getaway in July where I'm going to rent out an Airbnb someplace, and I'm going to shut off my phone, and I'm going to completely escape, and I'm going to write a song, or hopefully a couple of songs, and just really remove myself from the world, kind of, or my little world that I have going on right now, and just kind of focus on kind of hitting that more emotional part of my creativity, which is kind of where the music comes from. So that's something that's going to be coming up for me in July. So hopefully I'll be pumping out some music soon. I don't know what it's going to sound like, what it's going to happen. I used to do a lot of heavy rock, heavy metal music. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But other than that going on, of course, you can always come on by to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/blumsvoyage to see me do my latest stream gaming on my PlayStation 4, Resident Evil's The Village. And first time around, boy, if you watch that video, you can tell that my anxiety is just skyrocketing, and I am super uncomfortable, and I am hesitating all the way through. Just completely, I'm just doubting myself, and pretty much just buying myself as much time as humanly possible to not continue on through the game. But since I give myself the pressure of having potential viewers, and I'm making these potential live videos for people to watch in the future, I don't want to make boring or uninteresting content. So the show must go on, and I go on, and with a little help from you, my friend Dylan, just giving me a couple pointers, because like I was saying on my stream, I'm not used to this formatting of kind of game, because I'm used to playing like action third-person RPGs, where this is like a first-person, kind of a little bit more tight, not so loose, no jumping. It's kind of more tight movements, like you're kind of focusing on just picking a lot of shit up, and you have to be aware that the settings aren't random. Like the way that they have every scene set up is happening in a specific way that you need to handle it in a specific way in order to get past that point. Whereas I'm used to being able to kind of run away from a situation and come back to it, or not be stuck in a scene and figure out how to deal with it, or you're fucked. So not only the fact that it scares the living shit out of me doing it, but once I like die once or twice and the anxiety is kind of done, and I kind of know what's going to be happening and nothing is random and it's kind of expected, it helps me to get through it. So if you want to hang out and watch me be scared shitless and kind of nervously make my way through this game and yell, "Oh shit, fuck, am I dead yet?" a lot, and other things like that, that'll be on my Greatest Hits album. Those are song titles that are going to be played at my funeral on my Greatest Hits album. Thank you. But that's it, man. That's it for me. That's all that I got.
So you're playing Resident Evil 8, The Village, which I've completed, and I get it. I get what he's saying. It can be creepy, and it's only going to get creepier, Joe. I'm sorry, I left you high and dry yesterday towards the end. Did you have any problems at the end that you needed me and I wasn't there?
No, that's okay, because honestly, by the time that you showed up, that was right around where I was at the video that I posted of me nailing all those zombies in the head while they were coming up that little field that I was too afraid to go into at first. Were you watching me when I went up to the field and I was like, nope. I turned around. I was like, I'm not doing this. But it turned out that there was nothing else for me to do. And just like I was saying, I had no choice but to continue to go through it in order to continue on through the game. So I did it. I sucked it up, and it scared the shit out of me, but I actually, after I did that part, I felt pretty good, and I was like, okay, that was actually a lot of fun. I had fun with that, and it felt gratifying to kind of get through that scary experience. So I think that I'm going to keep riding off of those vibes and keep playing this game for a couple more parts and hope that I finish it.
Yeah, you definitely should finish it. So make sure you check them out at Blum's Voyage on YouTube. Like I said, it's really interesting stuff.
Do it.
And without any further ado, here is the movie trailer for Cruella.
From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else. That didn't sit well with some people. But I wasn't for everyone. I guess they were always scared that I'd be a psycho. But a new day brings new opportunities. And I was ready to make a statement. How does the saying go? I am woman, hear me roar. I'm just getting started, darling. The thing is, I was born brilliant. Born bad. and a little bit mad.
I'm glad that you're sorry.
I'm Cruella.
And doesn't that just sound real good? That was the trailer for Cruella. And here we are in our spoiler-free section that we did not mention at the top of the show like I wanted to start trying, but here we are, and I'm saying it right now. So if you've made it this far, this is the spoiler-free section before we get into the ooey gooey, goopy, nitty-grittiness of it all.
The brief, and when I say brief description on IMDb says, Cruella is a live-action prequel feature film following a young Cruella De Vil. Were you expecting me to say more? Because that's all they wrote. Categorized under the comedy crime genres, this 2-hour character developmental PG-13 Disney Greg Gillespie film thus far has reigned in a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 59% on Metacritic. One 5-star review said, "This movie gave me a good plot twist, beautiful artsy fashion, and the soundtrack was absolutely marvelous. I went to the movie theater to see it opening night and also paid for it via Disney+. This movie held my attention from the beginning all the way past the closing credits. Superb piece of cinema work."
Boy, it really does sound like they were pleased there. They were pleased. All the way over in the UK, they left a nice little review there.
Some of the main faces in this film are Emma Stone, best known from Zombieland 1 and 2, Maniac, the TV series, La La Land, The Help, and Amazing Spider-Man 2, just to name a few, actually.
And Emma Thompson coming in hot as something that you might not realize is happening. She's coming in as Miss Trunchbull in the upcoming Matilda remake. She was also in Men in Black International, another Men in Black movie, Beauty and the Beast live-action remake, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and many more.
Just to make a quick comment, I did not know that she was going to play Miss Trunchbull, and Matilda is one of my favorite films.
Yeah, where did you just talk about that movie?
I did a like my 10 favorite films, like from 10 different genres, like one film per genre. So on YouTube I named a few of them, and Matilda was one of them. So I got to talk about it, and I knew they were making a remake. Didn't know she was going to be playing Miss Trunchbull, but that's exciting.
Where could listeners find that video if they wanted to watch it?
Well, listeners, if you're interested in watching that or any of my previous short films, you can check me out on Spookboy709 on YouTube. One more person, we have Joel Fry, and he played in Yesterday and Game of Thrones, just to name a couple of his.
Since the release of this movie on Disney, there have been 686,000 streams on Disney Plus by viewers, which is about 39% behind Mulan, that racked up just about 1.2 million streams, which is, holy hell. That's a lot of streams, all things considered. We're talking about these films that are put on there ahead of time while they're going into theaters, and they're charging people $30 to see these movies in the comfort of their home. And 1.2 million humans paid $30. You know what I mean? Just do the math. You know what I mean? Just do the math real quick. That alone right there, whatever, I'm sure that, and they even run their own service. They have their own, you know what I mean? They're not even running through a third party, so they're not even paying somebody else to run their own movies for people to pay for. Disney is just always racking in the money, dude.
They always are. They keep buying people, keep buying companies. But is that, with that number there, do you know, is that also with Mulan also, and that like, these are all numbers that are before it's being streamed for just the streaming, like the normal streaming costs of Disney Plus, not like right now, this is right. The extra that you have to pay the $30 for. Is this the same number that you have for Mulan, where it beat Mulan? Is that counted for just when they were releasing for $30?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. For the pre-release, because that's what they compared it to.
I'm surprised that, I guess they're both really big, well-known,
I will say, 101 Dalmatians was very popular, but Mulan just had a few things that made it, it had that little bit of extra reach over that movie. I also think because, that was one of Disney's movies that actually did have a lot more animal rights kind of themes invested into them opposed to a lot of their other movies. So I felt like that was kind of something that also people aren't super interested in, when kind of looking into what's going on behind a film. But yeah, Mulan definitely shot it right out of the park. And speaking of Disney, while we're on it, because, who doesn't love a good goddamn Disney movie? I don't know about you, dude, but I've been a fan of Disney for a lifetime. It actually feels kind of neat to sit here and review a Disney movie right now because, we just been growing up watching. We were watching Disney at such a pivotal time, in Disney's life, in its existence. The 60s were crazy for Disney. Even the 50s were crazy for Disney. I don't even know how far back they went. The 20s, when was that first Mickey thing that came out when he was on the boat and doing the little tooting and whistling? I think it was the 1920s maybe. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know. I remember watching a lot of those original, because they used to do a lot of spooky stuff back then too, so I used to watch all those old spooky Disney Mickey Mouse things.
Yes, dude. So it's like the years that we grew up watching Disney, like that's when a lot of hits that were really fresh and really original and were like obviously staples that are going to be holding up the Disney platform for as long as they exist, I'm sure. And so that sticks with
I mean,
us.
that's what we're getting these remakes now, like these live action remakes now with like Lion King and Cruella and all that stuff. Like that's Mulan. Yeah.
It's neat. And I took the time. I took a little bit of time today. I did watch the 1996 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close and Jeff Daniels. I did rewatch that, and that was such a great movie, man. It was.
You watched that today too.
I did watch it today. I wanted to get, because I remember that was one of my favorite movies, and I always say that I want to watch Disney movies or older Disney movies that I remember, but I never take the time to do it. So I finally sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be busy doing some stuff, but I'm still going to be kind of watching it. And I threw it on and I watched it, and oh my God, it's something about, I don't know why, but the Disney movies from the 90s just make, I don't know, they make like your home feel warm. Like just the music that they use, it's always light and fluffy, and the flutes are always like toot 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 toot, and it's just nice, and it's always playful, and it just feels fun. And even like the actors, like they just kind of have just a little bit of a different look, like it's like an in-between eras kind of look, and everything about it, man, is so great. So I'm happy to be here doing a Disney thing. And one thing that I wanted to say while we were on Disney that I took forever to get to was there's a live action Little Mermaid coming out that apparently, from what it's looking like, Halle Berry is going to be playing Ariel.
Okay. I did not know they were making. Oh, well, I think I did, but I didn't know Halle Berry was going to be playing the Little Mermaid. I love Halle Berry though, so I think whatever she does great. So. Mm-hmm.
She's going to knock it out of the park. I don't know if she sings or if they're going to have a professional do the singing parts for her. I don't know. Maybe they won't even do any singing. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with, especially with the live action films, they change a lot of different things about it, between like having the animals or not having animals and stuff like that. But
one thing we're missing out on is, in all these Disney movies, they're always like the remakes now, they're cutting out like the sidekicks. Like Mushu wasn't in Mulan. They're probably not going to have, I bet, Flounder. I wouldn't be surprised if they left Flounder, or I wouldn't even be surprised if they left out Sebastian too. You know what I mean? Like just people that were like characters in the film that were so super duper important.
I am glad that you did watch the 101 Dalmatians though, because I was thinking as I was watching this film that I wish I would have rewatched 101 Dalmatians just to get a little bit more reference, because I know that they threw some things in there that I've heard people say that I might not have gotten the references, all of them, because it's been so long since I've seen 101 Dalmatians, but it is a good movie.
Yeah, Glenn Close was an executive producer on this movie. So from what I had seen, people were saying that there were a lot of nods to 101 Dalmatians. I can kind of see some of the nods, but I didn't. If there's other things that people picked up that I didn't, that is very possible.
Well, their budget for Cruella was anywhere between 100 to 200 million dollars. For some reason, it's not really clear online exactly what the number is.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gap right there. That's $100 million gap right there.
I want to say that I've heard, like, I've done a little bit more reading, and I think that it is closer to the $200 million range, which is insanely expensive for a movie, like insanely expensive. It's not, I mean, it has been done before, but that is a lot of money. Like, that is like Academy Award winning money right there. And actually, there's some Academy Award winning movies that don't even spend close to that. So this is they took a leap of faith with this one. Let's put it that way. And they brought in so far $129.3 million. News about this movie: Joker and Cruella directors have talked about similarities between the movies, which we'll give our opinion about this at the end.
Yes, we will. We will definitely see if we feel like the two directors having a conversation about that is them just tooting each other's horn or relevant. It's like, in my head, I could imagine that's like two people that, like, they have to like talk each other's movies up and say that they're like each other in order for them to be friends and be able to have a conversation with each other.
Or is there something that's happening behind the curtains that we don't know?
Ooh, merger.
That would be insane. That would be unexpected, but that'd be insane.
It's gonna get dark. It's gonna go real dark, baby.
That would be actually very interesting, though, to see a Joker and Cruella. I mean, it doesn't match at all, but that would be really cool.
Speaking of the directors, Craig Gillespie is the director and alumni with a degree of illustration, graphic design, and advertising from Manhattan School of Visual Arts. He's best known for Lars and The Real Girl, Fright Night, and I, Tanya. He's been active since 1995. He's done an outrageous amount of commercials. Like, I mean, an outrageous amount of commercials. This dude has done commercials for what seems like every major company that you could possibly think of. You know, Dunkin' Donuts, Subway, Call of Duty, 7-Eleven, Guinness, Nike. I mean, he's even done a music video for Kid Cudi's song, No One Believes Me. I mean, this guy is all over the place. He's been... You know, he's in all kinds of different networkings, all different kinds of... So, you know, that if I was ever a director, I feel like that's where I would be at. Like, I wouldn't want to just be doing one thing. Like, I'd want to be doing different kinds of filming and having to do, you know, things. Because obviously I'm sure that you go about doing a commercial differently than you do a film. You go about doing, you know, even just audio for a film differently than you would be doing the audio live for a film. So... You know, I think that that's cool that he does that. That's one thing that I like about this section too, is usually I never give a shit about directors. I never look into directors. So it's just kind of neat to hear. It's neat to hear little things about them like that.
You'd be surprised actually on how many directors do a lot of commercials or have started with commercials. It's actually a pretty big thing.
Seems like a good place to start. Dylan, we are just zooming on through this here. We are on the way to maybe having the shortest episode yet. Who knows? Maybe. And here we are at the very moment where you're going to hit us with some thoughts and some words in your little brain about this little movie before we get into our little discussion.
I mean, I don't think this movie is too little with a budget of $200 million, but my general thoughts on this film, I thought it was a fun ride. There's so much that I loved about it, between the music, the set design, the wardrobe, the camera shots, the lighting, the characters, the actors. Like, I thought it was very, very good, and I'm so glad that I watched it. And I had a feeling it was going to be good. I'm so glad to have actually watched one that I didn't hate or just despise, you know. I think this is just, there's a lot of good things in this. Don't get me wrong, there's a few things that I didn't really like, but the things that I didn't like that much was very minor. And it was things like some of the visual effects were a little rough with like some of the animals and stuff like that. But in general, I would say that I would recommend this movie to almost anyone, really, for, you know, kids, adults, people who've known the original films or are brand new to it, I think it's a movie for all. Really, it's dark and lighthearted, and it's just a fun ride, I think.
I'm just about hanging out where you're at there, my friend. I think that this was like a classic, very comfy, put on those slippers, get that nice cup of cocoa, kick your feet up on the recliner, watch that goddamn Hallmark movie and know that you're just going to love it and feel all warm and gooey by the end of it, whether it's happy ending for all or a happy ending for one. It kind of all depends on your perspective, but this was definitely a nice, solid, expected, feel-good Disney movie. They did a great job. Overall, the roadmap was great. It brought me all the way from the beginning. They even make a comment of, yeah, this is where we're starting, guys. Like, yeah, really, this is where we're starting right here. And that's exactly what I had thought too. I was like, Jesus, we're starting from the beginning. And the roadmap for that was great all the way up through the end. They definitely surprised me, and not a single complaint, truthfully, not a single real complaint that is worth mentioning for me to say at the beginning of the show to ever keep you from watching it. There's no reason to not watch it. I will definitely say that there's not a single reason to not watch it, because anything that we have to say is just us being nitty and gritty and picky and critical.
And I honestly, to be honest with you, I don't think there's many things that I am being nitty gritty through this deep discussion. Maybe when we get to the spoilers, I will have a little bit more to say that might be a little nitty gritty, but for the most part, it's probably just going to feed off anything that you might say that's nitty and gritty, because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think that this film will at least have Academy Award nominations, if not wins. I'm waiting for it. It's going to happen. And I bet you it'll happen. If it doesn't happen within like the story or whatever, I think it's going to happen within set design or costume. I bet you they will get it for costume. Because
I'd definitely say that's one thing that stuck out to me for sure, that you'll notice if you haven't seen this movie yet and you're about to be watching it, the scenery and the outside shots are just magnificent. They are breathtaking. It's enough to make you cry, truthfully. It's beautiful.
All right, well, I guess with all that, if you haven't watched the film yet, I would suggest stopping this podcast and go watch it, and then come back and join us for the rest. We're about to get into our spoiler section, but if you have watched it, get ready. We're about to break this son of a bitch down.
Disney fans, here we are to the part where we're going to tear this baby apart and show you what our thoughts are, whether they're happy, sad, mad, glad, where everything goes and everyone knows in this sick-ass spoiler section.
First, we kind of just start out the film with a black and white version of like the Disney production video of like coming down to the castle, and then in deep red font is the title Cruella, and I loved just the start of that alone. I was like, we're in for a ride.
Isn't that stuff great though? That's like that's just the way that they have to bring to each individual film that pulls you in, and you're like, okay, this is it. It's happening every single time. Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed. Yeah, just like you said, that it was black and white, and I was like, I wonder if they've done this before, or if they felt like that was kind of fitting the Cruella theme. And then they hit you with that nice deep red kind of like lipstick kind of vial of blood looking font, and I just thought to myself, ooh, milky.
They definitely it was really well done. It was good.
Yeah. Yep. And then, like I was saying in the general thoughts section, they read my mind, because right at the beginning, of course, there is Stella is her name before she takes on the name Cruella. She is narrating her story to us from the beginning. And by the beginning, I mean from the day that this child is born. I had said right away, I was like, wow, they read my mind because they made just a little, and this is where the comedy factor comes in, which kind of goes throughout pretty much the whole film. They're pretty consistent with the comedy throughout the entire film. Like you don't get very long breaks from like little one-liners or comedy hits or jabs or snaps all over the place. They're everywhere.
And not just that, it's not like annoyingly everywhere either. It's like perfectly done. It's like spaced out enough where it doesn't like take away from the dark stuff, but that also like it just flowed very, very well.
Yeah, it was in such good taste. That was why because sometimes with the comedy thing, it's like they hit you at the wrong time, or even with like you were saying for Spiral, how like Chris Rock's kind of comedy moments were what kind of helped you keep it together. But even then, like it's still just, yes, exactly. Yeah, he's rolling his eyes at me right now. Like it was just rough. It was so bad to get through. It's almost hard to believe that we even did an episode on that goddamn movie.
So if you haven't seen, or I should say, so if you haven't heard our Spiral podcast, go ahead and check that one out too.
Yeah, go give it a peek with your eardrums.
So then we're kind of like put into this like of her like Stella growing up, like the whole like montage of like her getting into trouble and like the kids. I mean, I feel like
she says she's dead.
She's dead. Yeah, she starts out saying she's dead, and that's how like the film starts. But it's all like it's actually Emma Stone narrating this whole thing.
And when I heard that accent at first, I couldn't imagine actually seeing her sounding like that. And you actually have to wait a while before you even see her talk on the camera.
Yeah, I didn't see the time, but I was wondering.
It took a while.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so there's like a montage of this, of Stella, and she's at school and all these kids are like bullying her or bullying other people, and she kind of like sticks up for herself or other people. Like one of the kids like tries to throw a ball at the other girl's face, and Stella grabs it real quick and then like throws it back.
Catches it like a badass.
Yeah, like just stopped, grabbed it and threw it
like
right.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like yes, because he did do that, didn't he? And then she just like
lunch tray
tosses it right at her, right at that kid's
right
nuts. Yeah,
classic nut shot, a Disney nut shot. One thing that I noticed, I never expected her hair to be like that when she was that young. I thought that was kind of like something that she decided to do, in her life when she kind of went bonkers. Because I just feel like Cruella is one of those characters that like they were normal at first, and at some point like something just made them kind of snap, and they just totally twisted personalities. So I was confused and definitely perplexed at first, wondering why she had already had that hairstyle. I thought that was interesting because that was a take that I wasn't expecting it to already be there.
I wasn't even. I think I watched a trailer to this a long time ago, like when the trailer first dropped, and I haven't seen it. Because I like to kind of go into movies open-minded and just like kind of like not realizing what's going to happen, just so it's like really exciting when it does. And I actually didn't even realize that a young Stella was going to be in it, like a young Cruella was going to be, a big part of this film at the beginning. And I love it. I'm glad that it was in there. I loved it.
I didn't see any tease at all for a younger her. Like usually a lot of trailers kind of show a majority of the beginning of the film, and they stuck to mostly just bigger moments of like more of her like pinnacle moments of when she's being most of her Cruella self.
Yeah, and I'm sure
that's what they advertise big time.
I'm sure that's like the young Stella was in the trailer, because I still haven't rewatched the trailer.
Yeah, me either.
But I'm sure that she's in the trailer somewhere. And but again, it didn't stick out to me when I first watched it, and I forgot about it. So yeah, I appreciate it though.
Were there any parts of this movie that you felt like she might be schizophrenic?
Dude, that was I wrote in my notes, I said, where did I write this? I said, does she have a split personality?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It felt like she kind of looked at herself like she had two sides, because her mother was always like, stay calm, like be chill, be yourself, be a good beacon of light, just be contained, you're Stella. Cruella's bad, you're not Cruella, you're Stella. It was like she called herself Cruella whenever that's the name that she did to excuse the bad things, was to say that it was something else, So, and I feel like that's something that happens with schizophrenics a lot.
And I think that's probably why they started out with her hair already like that, is because I think that her hair represents the split personality, because even when she wears a hat in the beginning a lot to hide the difference, she'll show the black hair and hide the white hair. And I'm assuming that the white hair then must be Cruella and the black hair is Stella.
Yeah, and you will notice going throughout this film that in that instance, you know, if any of you or us even believes this schizophrenia theory, you know, the trauma that is faced and the stress that she faces throughout the film could definitely be a huge trigger that would pull out the Cruella side and maybe make the Stella side never come back.
After all that stuff, though, with like the kids and stuff, eventually she got kicked out of her school. So her mom's like, yeah, screw this place, we're out. So they wanted to go to London.
Didn't it just feel like it was so over exaggerated how much she had to fuck up before they expelled her?
Oh yeah, I mean, if this was nowadays,
the dude was just is like, you know what I mean? Like, how did this? He seems so angry. How did he possibly have so much patience to fill up a whole book before he was like, you know what, we're done. That's it. Can't take it anymore.
I know, and I love how the mom's like, nope, I'm pulling her out, because he's like, yeah, she's expelled, and she's like, no, I said it first, and he's like,
you
no,
can't fire me. I quit.
It's exactly the same situation, but the kid was expelled instead. So they moved to London, or they try to move to London, but she needs to, the mom needs to go to somebody and ask for a little bit of financial help to get, relocated. So they go to the Hellman Hall. And at first, when I read this, I actually had to rewind it. I'm like, oh, does that say Hoffman Hall? And
oh my God.
No, it didn't. So it says Hellman Hall.
I got some weird vibes from that. I got some weird vibes from this situation. Like something about her saying like, well, honey, I have to go see somebody because you put me in this situation where we're broke and we need money. And I was like, prostitution ? Like, what is going on here?
That's
like,
not what I thought.
I don't know why. I have no idea what was like. I just felt like something weird was going on. Like just the way that her inflection and the way that she said it just seemed like it was going to be something like, hey, I need you to go sit in this hotel room while I go do this thing.
I'm not going to actually, now that you say that, I do remember having a slight like, wait, is she like, hooking up with somebody kind of situation, or yeah, I didn't know exactly what was happening, but the fact that she was all dressed up. But then when she got to like the castle place, the Hellman Hall place, I already assumed it wasn't that. But for a split second, that's what I thought maybe. But then once they got to that castle, I knew it was something else. But I still didn't know what. But I knew it was something else. I thought maybe it was a family member.
One other thing before we get any further that I also just noticed that I just had to put a big fat question mark at the end of it was, she found a puppy in the trash, dude. She found a goddamn puppy in the trash.
I know, dude.
It's just in the garbage. It's just, aw.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, why is it there? Like, it's just there.
Here's my new perfect little buddy. Clean and looks healthy, but it's just happened to get thrown in the trash 3 seconds ago. Poor little guy.
Did it get thrown in, or did it go in to get food? And she just so happened to found it in there.
That puppy was so small. And that trash was up pretty high. I don't see that puppy getting in there. Pretty
big, yeah. To go like, kind of like, this isn't like jumping too far ahead or anything. I will say, I liked the way Cruella is in this one, with the fact that she is like an animal lover instead of like an animal hater. In this one, she's like an animal lover.
Yeah, they definitely took a different twist on that. And I think that
I think they had to.
I think that that's just because, especially at the time, fur wasn't looked down on as badly as it is now. Like, there's a lot of campaigns out there that are shutting down fur industries left and right, all over the place. And when you do think about it, you're talking about wearing a once living creature's skin.
Yeah, I don't like that.
For temporary fashion. You know what I mean? For a season. That's like, fashion is one of the biggest wasters on the planet. because it's so in and out all the time and it's always changing, and people will literally not wear something if it's not in season or it's no good anymore. It's wild, and they're trying to do more recycling for stuff like that, but yeah, I could see why they would take it in that direction and make her kind of more of an animal lover opposed to because 101 Dalmatians, she was wicked.
No, yeah, dude. She's like, I want to skin these dogs. Yeah, ugh.
Yeah, she was nasty. I was like, wow, that is vile. This woman is vile. She's like completely psychotic. You know, that it was fun though. I love how they did that film, and I will definitely say again that I'm so glad that I watched it because it just made me feel all, I don't know, it just made me feel all young and warm. Just made you feel perfect. I love it. Thank you, Disney. Dylan, can we just take a quick moment to appreciate all of those outside shots and the nice, deep, dark, layered clouds? I mean, wasn't that just gorgeous, dude? Those shots just were, oh my goodness. I could watch a 10-hour YouTube video reel of those shots,
man.
all day long.
That's a lot.
How do you feel about when movies kind of use the kind of song music format where they're actually using songs consistently throughout the whole movie? Does that bother you, or do you feel like it's too much, or do you feel like it's just good music?
I think it's just good music. I think there was only one time where the music actually, I mean, I thought about the music almost every time, but the one time that really took me out where I was just like, I don't know if it needed to be a cover version. It could have just actually been the actual song, like the actual recorded song. And it was that Beatles song. I don't even remember what the song was.
Come Together.
Yeah. Come Together. I think they should have just left it as Come Together. Not saying that the other performance was bad, but I don't think it did much to help the song at all. Like, I think it was just the same thing with a different singer. I think they should have just stuck with the original version.
Yeah, I liked any of the other ones that they did do any renditions on. I definitely liked all of those, but that was the one I also agree with you as well that they should have just stuck with the OG version.
OG. Orange juice.
But yeah, overall, there's a couple points. Like, there's points throughout all my notes that I was like, "Whisper, Whisper" by the Bee Gees was that first song before we see that weird necklace family heirloom.
Oh, the necklace.
So at this point, because Cruella has been a bad girl and was expelled from school because she just could not behave, her and her mother are off to London. And she's going to London because she's meeting with someone. She doesn't tell us who. She doesn't tell her daughter Stella who. But she's hoping that she will help her out, who she's going to see, and get them some money so they can get on their feet and get moving and hopefully get established in London and start a new life and a better life. After getting there, her mom sits her down and is just like, listen, just stay put. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. It's okay. I just have to go in here, ask this person for a little bit of help, and we can get out of here and move on with our life. And, Stella being the young girl that she is, she just doesn't know how to listen to mom and behave. And she gets out of the car and she gets herself into a little bit of trouble.
So Stella gets out of the car, and because she's so interested in the outfits, the dresses and stuff everyone's wearing, and she comes across.
What's up with that, dude?
What's up with it?
What's up with that? Why is it 1960 and everybody's dressed up like it's the 1500s?
Not just 15. I think that there's all kinds of periods in these dresses throughout. Like, there's older looks, there's newer looks. So I think the time periods for
just for that one party, that party, that first party, like they were dressed up like with those big wigs.
I liked it. I thought it was neat.
I like it, but it just seemed random. Like it was a random. I guess maybe she just had a theme party, like a themed party. But
she's an
I don't know.
autist.
It just seemed too old school for them to be doing it. It just seems like Disney's always trying to include putting those big ass fucking wigs and those weird tassel suits and shit in as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, man. But it looked good. So
I don't know. I thought you might have something to
No.
say about it. I might cut that out because I thought that you might have been like, yeah, that shit was ugly and I don't get it or something. I don't know.
No, because I mean, the thing is with like art, like people, like designers and stuff, I don't always agree with everything that they wear or, design. Sometimes I think it looks hideous, but it's just opinion and what, it's technically an art form, when it comes to stuff like that. And that was just her version of showing the art for that night, I guess. So she gets out of the car and she comes across she goes into the party and she gets kicked out. And when she's getting kicked out, she sees that her mom is talking to this woman. And then all of a sudden, these 3 Dalmatians run at her mom and pretty much push her off the side of the cliff. And then she dies while Stella gets to watch the whole thing.
I was struck by that.
Yeah, me too. I was not expecting that. I was like, oh my God.
And it actually, I don't know why or how, but it was so effective. I felt kind of emotional about it. I was like, wow, that and I felt so bad for her because it definitely looked like it was totally her fault why her mom died.
I know, and I think that's what really gets her going throughout this whole thing. It really brings out, certain parts to her. And it sucks because, it's not really her fault, though. Like, it was bound to happen no matter what, as we learn later.
Yeah, I just kept writing down as it was happening. Over and over again. I have it like 5 times. I just kept writing, oh no. I was so devastated.
I know, it's shocking, dude. I was not, I was expecting something, but that was dark.
And I didn't expect Dalmatians to be so nasty. Like I wasn't expecting mean, vicious, nasty Dalmatians to be, attack
I heard
dogs.
that they can be mean, though. I heard they can get nasty.
I'm sure
sometimes.
that they can, but I wasn't expecting her like her bodyguards, you know what I mean, to be these vicious Dalmatians. They looked mean too. Those CGI dogs looked mean as hell. So continuing on, yeah, I just said some more about the outside shots. I just made a mention that obviously Stella is homeless now. She's on her own. She manages somehow to make it to London. She catches a ride on this random truck. You get to see some more beautiful outside shots. And at that point, then she realizes that she lost that necklace. Because I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but the one thing that was left over after her mom died was the necklace that she loved so much that she wore that her mom said was a family heirloom. And she was devastated about that, but at that point there was nothing she could do and she had to move on. And at that point she passed out. And we're off to the next day, and who does she meet but none other than her 2 best buds. What are their names, Dylan?
Their names are Jasper and
Making
Horse.
sure he's on top of his name game, because you folks know if you're a long time listener now, you know Dylan's don't got that name game.
I don't got that name game, and I'm still bad at names, but I'll have a cheat sheet.
Ooh.
So she actually meets them at the fountain that she wanted to take her mom to. So, and that's a reoccurring location in this film. That fountain that's pretty much symbolizes her mom at this point, that she goes and talks to often. And so she meets Jasper and Horace when they're trying to steal money out of the fountain, as well as steal or like beg for money from other people. And then the cops come, and she is like caught in that
the chase down.
Yeah, so she has to run. She has to get out of there too because they think that she did it, and she's also homeless. She doesn't want to, be put into the system or anything. So she leaves, and she chases those 2 kids down too because she wants to know where they're going and just like get away and get help from them.
Yeah, they pull some Aladdin shit and they like scale up these buildings and go into this secret little headquarters.
And I was gonna say the design of that building and like how half the building's missing and stuff like that. I thought that looked cool with like the fake, like the wallpaper on the side, just like where you could tell a room was in this square section or this and that. And yeah, and she eventually met up with them in their little place where they lived, and they all grew up there 10 years later, and that's where they're at. But before that, Cruella decides she needs to change her look too. Well, Stella needs to change her look because she has a white and black hair, and she puts that dye on there, and what a mess, man. What a mess. She just lets that thing drip all over.
She's like, you know what? Nobody's going to tell me to clean this up, and I'm not gonna. Just fucking squirts it all over the place. That, like, how do you... I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that, honestly, because it just felt so ridiculous that she was putting the hair dye on like that. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, who puts hair dye on like that?
I know, dude. I was irritated. I'm like, come on, you're making a mess all over your clothes, all over, you're going to get on your skin and stain your skin. But she goes down to rinse her hair, and as a young Stella, and this is the shot I'm talking about that's really cool, is she goes down to rinse her hair out as young Stella, and she raises back up in the mirror, and it is adult Emma Stone. And that's 10 years later. And that was a cool shot. I did like that a lot. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, no, I did. I definitely did. And the only thing that crossed my mind was I was like, damn, that was a huge time jump. Because they made it seem like they were really going to stretch it out a little bit longer, I wasn't expecting her to get so old so fast. And then it was like, 10 years.
What I didn't like, though, I think Jasper, the adult version of both Horace and Jasper looked not just different, but like they looked way too old to be 10 years from the age they were before. But Jasper did not look anything like his young self.
No. And I didn't even notice that until you just said it right there. But they were so much old. Like, that was like a 20-year difference, maybe even 25-year difference.
Yeah, dude. Easy.
Yeah, so we got that 10-year jump going on. They never left. They're still at the same place, it looks like. They just made it nicer. They like cleaned it up, maybe added a couple things, got a little bit more responsible, made it homier. I thought it was neat, though, because a part of their little gang that they had going on, that little dog, Wink.
Yeah, it's so cute.
With the eye patch. That dog was part of the team. Like, that dog got into the operations. Like, that dog was smart and was very mischievous.
Even Cruella's dog, too.
Oh, Buddy, yeah.
Hey, that's a name, Buddy. I should just call this dog Buddy, not just Cruella's dog, huh? I should use names.
I thought that it was kind of fun that they had this little gang, like this little, they get by doing these little sneaky little crook things where they're just like stealing wallets or getting merchandise or taking money and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. I just thought it was fun. I had fun with them doing that.
I thought that the kids were going to like screw her over. The way they made it sound, like they were gonna like toss her to the wolves when it came time. Like if if it came between them two or her, they would toss Cruella into the to the cops or whoever. But they didn't. They grew up.
Yeah, just the way that he was saying that. Yeah, we needed someone who just looked innocent to help us get a couple more bucks in our pockets.
And I'm gonna say I think Jasper has some feelings for Cruella.
Oh, easily. That's that's very obvious.
But they don't do much about it though.
He's definitely the most heartbroken one when she's different. He doesn't bitch about it too much, but you can definitely tell that Horace is just more like, why is Stella being mean now?
That's real though. That's real.
I mean, he doesn't act that dumb, but I mean, he's a little slow for sure. But aren't the henchmen always just a little slow?
Apparently, according to like the Addams family and everything else like that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they just always make the henchmen like just duh. Even for Hercules, the two little demons that Hades always has going around, like they always screw everything up all the time too. So continuing on, it is now Stella's birthday, and so now you can kind of see that they built this relationship over all these years, and Jasper and Horace are coming out with this lovely birthday cake to celebrate, to which she says that this might be the best birthday that she's ever had. And what is it exactly that Jasper gifts that changes the game for the rest of the movie?
Jasper gives her a letter saying that she got a job at this wonderful
fashion retail store.
Yeah, there you go. Fashion retail store, and someplace that she used to look into all the time and just loved. And Jasper knew it, so he kind of forged some stuff and like made her seem quote unquote better than she was, I guess. And so
I thought that was a funny shot. Him sneaking that paper into the acceptance box.
Yeah, where he's dangling there, and just
scooping down real quick.
Yeah,
yeah.
That was very cartoonish out of this whole movie. Like that's one thing that was super cartoonish out of it all, but I liked it. And so she got the job, and she goes there, and then we have this it's like this overhead shot.
Turns out it wasn't much of a gift.
No, it wasn't much of a gift, but we have this cool overshot of Cruella walking from across the street, which she almost gets hit by a car, by the way. She gets really close to one of those cars. She just like walks in front of it, like, yeah. So
I'm like, who the fuck just walks through traffic? Yeah.
Apparently she does. It seems like that in movies all the time. They always do that shit. So she walks into the building, and the camera still follows her to the top of this building and shows the sky window, and it goes through the window. Yeah, and it just like goes through this whole like showroom of like the front of the store, you know, and showing all the people shopping, and then it goes to the downstairs, which this one shot I could tell where some of the cuts were, but it was still really, really well done.
That's what I wrote. That's what I wrote.
You?
I was
Okay.
like, ooh, they were sneaky. I was like, ooh, I see you being sneaky, trying to make this seem like one shot, but I look for those one shots, you little suckers, and you'll know that from the last episode that I know those long shots, baby, and you snuck those cuts in. I know it.
I kept an eye on that, but yeah, there is some places where you could tell, but it's still pretty seamless. And then we go to the downstairs where all the people are working, and it shows now Cruella is in the bathroom, in the public restroom, plunging and scrubbing the floors, and she is not having the job that we or she thought that she was going to get. It sucked because she was treated so miserably too. Like her hand was stepped on by her boss, and she kept on trying to say to her boss that like, hey, I can do this. And her boss had nothing to do with it. He didn't want to, try to help her in any way.
So that guy, I mean, I will say though, I like that guy's her boss at that place. I love his acting, like his reactions to things that pet peeve him, dude. Like the way that he just gets all squeaky and just he's like trying to just like it's not like a mom that doesn't want to yell in Walmart. That's like get in the goddamn car, god damn it. You know what I mean? Like always is, but he does it perfectly to a T. That guy gets mad shout outs from me.
Cruella goes out to throw the trash out, and she meets Jasper and Horace outside where they have her lunch. So I think they wanted to get her to like let them into the window to kind of like steal stuff, but she said no.
Yeah, I was like, shitty friends. You know you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, which they did. Yeah, they didn't try. Yeah, they were like, okay, it's cool. So Cruella then throws the trash into the dumpster, and it rips and it goes all over her. But I will tell you, it seems so dramatic when she did it. Like she was doing it on purpose all over herself. I'm like, oh, Jesus, come on. Like you just...
It looked pathetic.
Yeah.
It looked like...
It was ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Like somebody was watching her and she wanted someone to feel bad that she just, oh, Jesus. And she gets that one piece of banana stuck to her cheek.
Let me tell you about this damn banana. So she gets locked out of the back door. So she has to go through the front, and her boss is not happy that she's in there, and he tells her that she has a banana on her cheek, and she goes to wipe it off, and he's like, no, the other side. So she's like, oh, and she like grabs it and she slides it into her mouth and eats it. That's not her banana. Yeah, that's not her banana. That came from that trash that went all over her.
God, that's the next level. Like she was just feeling anxious and was just like, I don't know how to deal with the situation.
No, she seemed happy about eating that banana. She's just like, oh, thanks.
I mean, she did seem casual, but that would have been why I did it. Like, if I did that, it's because I felt so awkward that I didn't know.
You're swallowing your pride, but literally you're swallowing a banana. That's your pride just going away.
Yeah. So she gets plastered, and next thing we know, she's passed out, waking up in front of the front window, the display window of the store. You know, that... I mean, this guy, I mean, there's got to be steam pouring out of his ears at this point when he finds her.
Well, she wakes up because she was super drunk, and all these people are watching her sleep there. But the thing is, she changed the whole display. She wrote, like, in black lettering all this stuff, and then the mannequin is now, like, laying sideways, and the dress, there's this, like, I guess you could call it kind of beautiful, like this beautiful dress, but it's all made out of like newspapers. It's like a template of what she could have made with actual real stuff.
And when people wake her up, she says, "Oh, fart."
Yeah. That made me laugh. I thought she was gonna say the F word. I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. Oh, fart. And just all these people staring at her and shit. And here comes this very seemingly special figure. Just seems like almost like she's the Queen of England or some shit. You know what I mean? Like just the way that people are looking and acting around her, especially that one guy, the secretary or whatever he was, that was just like always totally taken back by her. She shows up and she's asking who made this art, who did this, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for that. I'm sorry that it's up. But we're gonna get rid of it as soon as we can. It's disgusting. I fired her already. She's gone." And he, she turned out that she loved it, and it also turned out that she was the fashion designer and owner of the most esteemed fashion design company in London.
And so she gets offered this job because Baroness is talking to Cruella's boss and was asking, so she doesn't work for you? She doesn't work for you, correct? And he said no. So she was pretty much like, okay, well, you got the job, and give Cruella this business card. And so she had to be at work at 5 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, and they played one of my favorite Doors songs, 5 to 1. It made it like, that was just such a badass way to quit your old job and get this new awesome, sick job. Like you totally broke the rules, you got pissed drunk, embarrassed his business, and then here comes somebody who makes way more money than him, is way more reputable than him, and is like, ooh, she is the best, she's got this job, and she's just like, she's walking out of there head held high, feeling real good, and that song just made it even more silky smooth, hitting it right off the top with continuing on with nailing it out of the park with their music selection.
To kind of go back real quick, though, to when Baroness comes in, I knew as soon as I seen her, I had a feeling that she was the woman that was talking to Cruella's mom before she died. So first that, but then I also knew that she was going to hire her.
Oh,
I had a feeling.
Did you really?
Yeah. As soon as I seen her like coming at like, because I knew that the display was going to be like, when you think that it's going to be like, oh, this is bad, this shouldn't have done that. It was one of those things where she's like, I love it. It's so great. And that's what it was.
You definitely get the vibes that this woman is the real deal. Like, it almost feels like people would lick her shoes clean.
I can't stand people like that. I don't think I could ever be like that. That would just not just be like Baroness, but like grovel over her. Like, I don't give a shit about you. Like, to be honest with you, I don't. Like, you're disrespectful.
Yeah. They're just another human being.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you're just a shit. Now it's just, you're just a shitty human being.
Exactly. So what makes her really shitty, though, is there's two things that I have here that really irritated me. Well, not irritated me, but the one thing irritated me. The first thing was just like, wow, that was rude. So Cruella had this like design that she made, and Baroness is going through all the designs, and she's like, nope, you're fired, or this sucks, or whatever. And then she gets to Cruella's, and she kind of looks at it, and she takes like this what is it? Not a switchblade, but like a razor, like a shaving razor, like the flip shaving razor. And she like cuts off parts off the arms and stuff. But then she cuts Cruella's hand by like mistake on purpose. But she didn't give two shits. All she did was grabbed her hand and was like, I need this color red. Something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, something about that made it seem like she was like, like kind of, like she went from being kind of annoying, and I was like, ooh, kind of mafia shit right now. Like that. I didn't ever find her intimidating except for that part right there, where she was like, I don't give a fuck that I cut you, and that's even a good color.
Yeah, but I feel like that was her seal of approval, knowing like, and I think that's why Cruella like smiles at the very end, because she knows like she liked it. She just did a little adjustment, and she also likes the color of her blood, apparently. But yeah, she is very mafia-ish, like you said. But the second thing that irritated me was when Cruella and Baroness were in her car, and she's eating food, and she just literally throws the food out the window. It pissed me off so bad. I hate when people do that shit.
I say something about that. I'm like, I was like, God damn it, she littered. I'm like, why do they always portray these rich, successful people as not giving a shit about anything? Like, not caring about the planet or resources. It's so stupid. One thing that I thought was so hilarious was when she was walking down that line before she cut off the sleeves of her dress, when she was making comments about everybody's dress, and she looks at one person's dress and she's like, "Well, you're fired."
Yeah.
Like just straight up fires somebody just from the dress that they made.
And he's just the guy's just standing there like, oh,
Just like
bummer.
Look like Beethoven. Look like Ludwig von Beethoven.
Yeah. Oh well, he doesn't need to be in that toxic shit anyways. He can go find some place that's better.
Yeah. So we learned really quick that the Baroness is extremely rude, and we definitely don't like her, and we've recognized that she's definitely the one that was around when the dogs attacked her mom and knocked her mom off of the mansion building area.
Yes, she was. And I'm assuming that the way that they talk later on to Cruella, I always say Cruella and Baroness, it almost sounds like Baroness has killed multiple people. Like she's not afraid to kill people to get what she wants.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a few times where it seems very obvious that, like, there's a few little comments that she makes that it seems pretty obvious that she's a murderer.
So at this point, Cruella and her friends are talking about Baroness and like what's going on and how she kind of like wants to outrule her in a way, I guess.
But why is that? Why does she feel like that?
She realized she finally found the necklace on Baroness, and she
noticed the necklace.
She is not happy, but she's trying to keep composure so she can still stay close to her to try to steal it. I think she's pissed at the Baroness because she pretty much was like, yeah, she fell off the cliff and this and that, this random person. Like, she gave no shits about Cruella's mom.
Yeah, that was my next note, was like, yep, didn't even care about her at all. The way that she talked about her was like she was just another tiny ant that got squished on her Sunday afternoon walk. So yeah, I guess you're right, because the way that she talked about her, like, not only does she have the necklace and she's pissed and wants the necklace, but now she's pissed because she unknowingly talks about her mom like she was dirt.
So the Baroness doesn't like to be outstaged at any of her events, and they kind of show like montages of like these women getting like attacked hard, like just because she didn't like the Baroness didn't want them to be in the spotlight. So that kind of fueled Cruella into creating this character, which is Cruella. So I shouldn't say Cruella created it. It was Stella who created it. So now Cruella is technically a thing now, who shows up at this party where they're going to try to steal this necklace back. And she comes in with this covered dress with like this cloak kind of thing. And she like lights it on fire. And it was so cool.
Going with this classic distraction tactic.
Yeah, like what a way, like what an entrance. Because she also spilled all this champagne off this tower, you know?
Like a lot. Like a ridiculous amount. Like a huge mess. Like nobody wants to clean up that much glass.
And then that's when she burns her dress, and it looks so cool because then her dress was really nice.
It made me feel like, in the trailer, it made me feel like she was going to have magic or something. The way that it got lined up, it made me feel like she was going to have magic powers, or she could use fire or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely.
She just did a little party trick.
Cruella talks to the Baroness because of the dress she was wearing. I think that kind of like familiarized her to like actually have a conversation, realizing that this dress was actually, and I think that dress was hers, but fixed up.
Yeah, gave a conversational piece. While
Cruella's talking to the Baroness, her friends Jasper and Horace are trying to get the necklace back along with their dogs, and everyone gets caught, and eventually all hell breaks loose, and the whatever, like, what is it? The rat spray or whatever that they were pretending to be, whatever that like spray stuff they have, blows up and goes everywhere into the room. Rats are everywhere. Everyone just kind of runs out and goes crazy.
They had Wink set as dressed up as a rat. It's like it's dog sized, but it's a rat. And that one guy that answers the door is like totally freaked out. Like, and it even shows him later, like sitting at the cameras, like breathing heavy, like watching in the back, like what's gonna happen? Is he gonna get this thing? And it's like totally staged the whole time. It looks like such an idiot. It's so funny.
That was a fun scene there, just with all that stuff happening and just getting like the real Cruella like finally showing up.
Well, and that's what I like too. The team is like a heist. You know what I mean? They do their team thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so everyone leaves the building because all that stuff's going on, and the town, somebody's towing the van that Cruella and her friends showed up in, and they needed it. So Cruella's like, screw this. So she hurries and goes and gets this iconic vehicle of hers that, the long old, I don't know what they're called, but it looks like her. So she hot wires it, and they get in and they drive off while she is wrecking into everything because she's never driven before.
Yeah, she drives like shit, which is definitely that's a callback to the cartoon from 1960s. Just the way that she's like hunched over while she's driving it, and the car itself, and the way that she moves and all that. Like that's such a callback to the cartoon, because that's exactly how she was in the cartoon there. I mean, Jesus Christ! Just a couple music points. They played Led Zeppelin. They played Deep Purple. Just in those moments that we were just talking about there, when there was that smooth key toss, Stella realizes that because of the whistle, that the Baron was the one that killed her mom. The whistle that she uses to sick her dogs is the same one that she realized that she used, that she couldn't hear it at the time, but she remembers seeing her using it, she sicked the dogs on her mom that pushed her over the building. So at this point, now not only was she pissed because she was rude about her mom and doesn't even care that she died, and took the necklace, now this just completely pushes Stella over the edge and pretty much makes her crack, which is kind of her transitioning point from the real. Well, I mean, she was kind of becoming Cruella, but this is like, she's getting full form Cruella at this point. Like, this is when I was starting to wonder, like, is she gonna be a hero or is she gonna be a villain? Like, this is kind of a point where we don't really know what way it's gonna go. Yeah, it's kind of up in the air, but she seems like she's being bad to her friends. She's not making good decisions. She's being selfish. She's not thinking about everything through very well, and she's just kind of acting on revenge and rage. So it sounds like she's going down the villain path. Their plan failed. They didn't get the jewel necklace, because it turned out that Baroness decided to wear the necklace to the event. Of course.
I wasn't expecting that.
Of course. Like, yeah, it just seemed like that's something that she kept put away most of the time. But of course.
Oh, that's right, because then the Dalmatian ate the necklace.
Yep.
Because they tried to get out, and then so then what they had to do now is they had to steal the Dalmatians while they were getting their baths at some company. So they stole the dogs, and they're just waiting for whichever one of them to take a big old steamy pile of shit to find this necklace.
Yeah, and they're using a metal detector to scan the shit.
Well, that's good. It's better than having to sift through it with your own fingers. Could you imagine that? You know what I mean?
Would definitely rather use a metal detector, but boy, was it driving me nuts that they were letting these dogs just tear this place apart. Like, oh, it was driving me crazy. I couldn't stand it. It was just making a huge mess. They're ruining everything. This is all their stuff, and all for their friend. All for their friend. They're letting all their shit get ruined, all for their friend to have taken these dogs in to get this necklace. Like these guys are not getting enough credit. They're not getting enough credit for the way they stuck their necks out for her. And at one point, she does go into the one retail store that sells the Baroness's stuff, and meets this guy Artie, who just seems like, I don't know, he is very fashionable and he's super chill, but he seems like his life is just going nowhere and he's just down to get into trouble. Like, he's just looking for some shit to get into. So that's pretty much his role through the movie. Like, at first I was like, oh, I'm going to get to know this character better, but he doesn't end up being that important at all, and he only plays like, I feel like they only put him in to include him at one point later on that we'll end up mentioning later. But I mean, I liked the character, and it just seemed funny that he was like down to just get into trouble for anything, like just a convenient pickup for her. And she pretty much, like you were saying, she keeps having these big moments where she's like, you know what, I'm gonna play the long game here, I'm gonna really tear at the Baroness, and I'm gonna make her feel it, and I'm gonna ruin her career, and I'm gonna take her all the way down to the bottom, and she knocks it out of the park. Like, there's a lot of people that were saying like they didn't think the fashion was all that great, and they, even though it was a fashion-based thing, it could have been better. But I don't know anything about fashion, and it's totally speculation. So I think that the way that they go about doing it, like when she rolled out of that dumpster truck, and she like popped up, and she just looked totally stunning, and then the trunk pulls away and the dress just keeps pulling away, it gets longer and longer. That was so cool. All the things that they did, you could see why there's a lot of money put in this film.
Or she had like the strap underneath like the car, and she locks Baroness in there, and she stands on top of it with her dress like just covering all of the car practically, except for the little bit of window where the Baroness is stuck inside, just to be like underneath her.
And then just totally covers her up last second before they start taking pictures. Or like just as they're taking pictures. It was so perfect. It was flawless. And you can tell like that's where all the extra money that they used, that's what that money got used for, was all these extra shots to really like get that nice detail and all those extra examples that we seem to love so much. Stuff like that really keeps me going in a movie when they can take those extra steps to like come up with a few more ideas to throw at you like that. I like it.
So then Cruella starts making this costume design, and she's doing it on her lunchtime outside, but the Baroness sees her on security camera and steals her idea and makes Cruella make this dress for her. And so she does, and I think it was intentional because she gets all these bead things that she sews to it, which they lock in a vault after she's all done. It does look so nice. It looks so nice.
At this point, she knows, the Baroness knows ahead of time that she already kind of is trying to be one step ahead of Cruella, thinking that she's going to be trying to steal this dress. Instead of being able to make a dress, she thinks that this dress is already flawless, and she's going to try to take it for herself and knock it out of the park with that dress, with everybody else not knowing that the Baroness actually made it. So she keeps it all locked away, and then she thinks that she is going to be the winner out of this, but little does she know that Cruella was actually already 2 steps ahead instead of just 1 step ahead. And we go a little bit further ahead, and at this party, it doesn't take long for it to get totally ruined, because she does open the safe to make sure that it was there, because the safe got extra locked to be annoying so that they couldn't even open it. When they busted it open, thousands of bugs just start flying out, and I'm like, oh, she put a bunch of bugs in there, but it turned out that all the little beads that made the dress look so beautiful were fucking lotus eggs. And it was so gross just to realize that that's what it was, and it was so nasty, and they got a close-up on the dress, and it looked disgusting.
Yeah, because those kind of bugs will eat like cotton and stuff like that, like moths or whatever they were. They'll eat like cotton and things like that with that many. So they destroyed all of the dresses inside because they ate them.
Yep. It ruined everything. Yep, they destroyed it. And so that's what pushes everybody outside, and it just so happens when they push everybody outside, which this is something I thought was ridiculous. How the hell did they set up this whole rock?
Right? That's what I thought.
Strip and shit like that. That was a little far-fetched, but so everybody gets pushed outside to conveniently show up to this concert. That was the only part that I didn't like the music. I didn't like the music that they were doing for this concert.
Yeah.
At first I was like, okay, cool rock music, and then it just turned out that it sucked. To keep on moving along, dude, the police show up. They're crashing the party. They're running away, dude, and they get out of there. Everybody runs out. They kind of sneak off. Jasper and Horace kind of go off on their own little thing, and Stella ends up finding her way out as well.
Yeah, and Cruella ends up gets food to take back to everyone, and she goes back to their little home area in that building, and she gets up to the top floor, and she noticed that Jasper and Horace are tied up, and the Baroness is up there with her lackeys, I'll call them. And long story short, they want to blame Cruella's murder on them, but they have nothing to do with it. They're pretty much going to take Cruella and burn her alive in this building, telling you how crazy that the Baroness really is.
Yeah. You remember earlier when you were saying that, they made her into an animal lover? Well, this was the only part of the film, too, that they made you wonder real quick, if they were going to bring in that element. because at one point she does mention when she's sitting there and this is when Jasper too is like getting really sick of Stella at this point. Is like, I don't like who you're becoming, and we're starting to think she's leaning more towards a villain. And she even cracks a little joke about saying, you know, just looking at those dogs and being like, oh, those dogs would actually make some great coats.
Yeah, I
And,
know.
you know, they kind of make that mention to that. He's like, I don't even know when you're joking anymore. Like, I don't know what's going on with you. And even the dog, her dog Buddy, you know, was just starting to kind of show that, you know, he's whimpering and just kind of shows that.
Yeah, going to like separating.
Yeah, so right before where you got there, where everyone's all tied up and, you know, she shows up to all that, you know, they actually make us think for a second because she shows up to an event wearing a Dalmatian looking coat, and they make everybody think that she actually did kill those Dalmatians for a minute. It makes us think, as the audience makes us think that.
Oh, that's right.
And
yeah.
it turned out that you know, they do kind of a cute little comedy, nice little smooth moment where they kind of just say, you know, they kind of confirm that she didn't.
So now Cruella is tied up in this building that the Baroness throws a match down and catches all the gas that they poured all around her on fire, and she knocks herself down. Cruella knocks herself down onto the ground sideways. She can't really get out, but she sees this blurry figure of somebody who's by the front door that seems like is going to help her, which I already knew who it was going to be right away.
Oh yeah, you did know? I didn't know. I didn't really know who to expect. I didn't think that there would be anybody that was in the know that would be coming to save her.
Just because the way John was acting throughout the rest of the film, like I think she started getting the idea of like he knew it was her and he knew the backstory of her at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he was just like, yep, I'm going to save her. So he did. And he brought her back to her house and pretty much, I think, told her about everything, right? Gave her the in that necklace, there's that key.
Yeah, John was the one that spilt the beans about the Baroness actually being Cruella's mom, which is the kind of the big plot twist of the film, which was also where the defining moment of hero or villain was truly going to be decided, of how she decided to deal with this at this point, which is even more messed up because, you know, right before that, before she set that place on fire, you know, she's like, hey, I know that you killed that woman and knocked her over the cliff. And she's like, I'm sorry, honey, you're going to have to be more specific. And it just really shows that, like, she is kind of a serial killer. Like, she's done this shit many times before.
Yeah. Oh.
So, yeah, John spills the beans, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and you know what? One technical mention I wanted to make was I loved the shot of showing the place on fire as they were going down the elevator, and they had the camera on the elevator going down. That was a great shot.
Oh, yeah, dude. And that's when that music was starting and stuff like that.
And that's the first time that she harkens back to the beginning when she's narrating, when she says that she dies. And, you know, it goes ahead, and obviously I'm sure that, as we all know, that she's alive and she survives.
But everyone else thinks she's dead.
Yeah, everybody does think that she's dead. Everybody thinks that Cruella is dead. Everyone still thinks that Stella is alive. Let's be clear with that. And the one thing that was nice was it turns out that John got his hands on the necklace. And he just makes a little note, and he says that the necklace was thoroughly bleached, so she didn't have to worry.
Yeah, I did enjoy that, because I'm sure most people thought, but if she can eat a banana off of her face from the garbage, I think...
yeah, she could slurp on that necklace.
Yeah. Did you say slurp on it?
Yeah, I said slurp on that necklace.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, that's next level gross.
So in the necklace, though, was a key which unlocked this little box that John had, and in that box was pretty much saying that Cruella was actually it was not technically Cruella, it's
Stella. Yeah, and it turned out that the Baroness did not want to be a mom, and she wanted to give that baby up.
Oh man, so showing you how
Dad, do you know, Dad wanted to be this nice loving dad, wanted to be there, be this great dad.
What happened to him?
The way that they explained it was they said that pretty much since she gave Stella away, said that Stella died, and Dad just pretty much got so sad because he loved her so much that he perished. Like, he died of sadness.
Oh, you died from a broken heart.
Yeah, which is like the worst and saddest way of hearing somebody die.
And that's actually a true thing. You can actually die from that.
Yep. So don't get too sad, folks. Might kill you. And I'm like, come on, dude. She's already this messed up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, how much further is this? how many more bad things is going to happen to this poor girl that's going to make her snap? Which this is one comment that I'll make now too, that
Like Maleficent and stuff.
I kind of still wanted Cruella to. I didn't want to have a heroic story for Cruella. I didn't want to have like a sympathetic story from her. Like I didn't want them to switch it up to a point to where it was someone that we were going to have her back, because I would say at this point, yeah, right, because this is kind of the pivotal point where we were talking about hero or villain. And, she kind of goes through these motions where she has, they have more epic outside shots where she's driving on this motorbike and she's just taking it all in. And she's, it's just kind of, this is the point where, these are the shots where they're kind of like putting her shots in the pot to stir for her awards. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this is where you need to be, I'm acting here, I'm acting. So that's pretty much where she was at with that. And the motorbike.
Yeah, because she goes back there.
And that's pretty much where I had said, or that you were saying before, that, they kept on going back to the fountain. They kept on referencing that fountain. She goes back and kind of has that really dramatic monologue.
So after Cruella has been sitting there at the fountain having this, or not sitting there, but standing there talking to this fountain as if it's her mom and explaining, like, yeah, I found out that you're not my mom and that the Baroness is, and she pretty much just, she leaves and she goes into disguise because no one knows that she's alive yet, but Jasper and Horace are in jail right now. And she wants to break them out. So she runs this truck. I think it's a garbage truck, right? I think she runs this garbage truck right into...
Big old mustache.
Big old mustache. Front of the... yeah, it's a big-ass mustache. Runs this truck right into the front of this police station. And she backs up and lets the dog out. And I think, Wink? Lets Wink out. And she leaves. And then the cops decide to chase her while Wink is trying to get the key to Jasper and Horace, and the cops are chasing her. She's got this little runaway chase thing going on, and I loved it because she drops the trash right in this alley where they couldn't chase her anymore.
Silky smooth. But at this point, even after helping them escape, Jasper and Horace are still mad at her, and I don't blame them. They're still mad.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't blame them either. But at the same time, they're all like crying and they were all upset. But then all of a sudden, now that they find out she's alive, they're not like, they act like that wasn't a big deal. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yep, they're like, oh, fine. Well, and that's the thing, is because she breaks the ice that the Baroness is her mother, and
yeah, they're like, this is news.
Horace is just like, you just blew my mind.
Yeah, that was funny. And they're like, okay, that's enough to get in this mustache lady's dump truck, or whatever, not dump truck, garbage truck.
And, she just, instead of going off the deep end, she kind of accepts herself, kind of feels like, it's almost like, she's like, you know what, this is me, I'm going to love myself. I don't need to be a shitty person to be myself. Like I can just,
exactly.
I can feel good and still do good things and be artistic and not be evil. And then she uses the family card, and they're like, oh, you're using the family card. And then, that they suck her over for that. So the group's together, gang's back together again. Woo.
And they're at John's house now.
And then that's pretty much where I point this out again, where I was like, damn, this is pretty much where she grabs that retail worker, Artie, and is like, hey, I need you for a job. This is the biggest job. I need you. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'm down for this. And being all sassy and just being like, you look so fly. You look good as hell. And, they're pretty much just complimenting each other, just pretty much always, they're both always saying they look good as hell.
By the way, I do like Cruella's look. I like the way Emma Stone looks as Cruella. She looks really, really good. She played great as Cruella.
It's like a perfect, like kind of like early adult, young adult Cruella for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. She's beautiful. I just think she's beautiful in general. She's just a great actress.
And then Jamie Lee Curtis for Cruella 3.
What?
We're gonna get Jamie Lee Curtis for Cruella 3.
Well, maybe we should start doing that sooner than later, because how long is it going to take until Cruella 3 comes out? That she might
probably 5 years.
I feel like it'd be longer. I don't know if Jamie Lee.
I think it'd be good though.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jamie Lee Curtis could destroy that role. She would be amazing. I would love to see her play something like that.
So we get into the building here, and you can see all the cool font that's in the building, and it's kind of like meshing in with the background, and they're working their way through there. And it pretty much leads up to this conversation with Jasper trying to tell Cruella for this last part that we're getting to here, where Cruella, she pretty much does, she kind of puts off that she wants to kill the Baroness, like, and to a lot of points. How could we blame her? But Jasper wants her to keep that innocent side, just like her mother always wanted her to just maintain. Also, one thing I had to make a mention of too is Jasper is just really bad at taking compliments. Like, there's a couple times where like she complimented him or was just kind of being flirty with him, and like it seemed like this is something that he would have wanted the whole movie, and he was so bad at taking it. Like, he was awkward, just like thanks. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he wasn't expecting it, or it just was not in the moment right there and then for it. So what Cruella wanted Artie to do is make all of these costumes. She sent boxes out to all the people that were going to show up to the Baroness's event, and in these boxes were outfits that looked like Cruella. Like her hair and they all pretty much look the same.
Which pretty much led to the Baroness realizing she's not dead.
Exactly. And she still wants her dead.
And so everybody kind of gets it because they're like, Cruella was just kind of putting up this fun little game with her, like having a fashion off. The way that the public looked at it was like she was just kind of having like a competition. Mm-hmm. And so people wanted to pay their respects. They thought that she was having like a rest in peace, paying respects, and everyone's going to dress up like her kind of thing. And I actually that was a good acting moment for Emma Thompson, where she had to kind of choke herself up and kind of just pretend like everything's okay and it's not bothering her that everyone's dressed up like Cruella. Like, I thought that was a good moment for her.
Could you imagine trying to cheers to Cruella? Like, she does not like that.
If I was her,
yeah.
Be so mad. Nobody knows what's going on. I'd be so irritated.
So eventually, they all the crew get together while the security's locked up. Cruella's crew is trying to get everyone at the party to go outside and say that they're that the Baroness wants everyone to go out there to join her out on the terrace or whatever. And
yeah, genius shit that's happening right now.
Yes, because
Cruella gets redressed up as Stella.
Yes, so she's standing where her mom died 10 years prior, and. Well, I think 10 years, something like that. And now the Baroness sees her and goes out and talks to her. And that's when the whole reveal to each other that Stella is the Baroness's daughter.
Her daughter.
And so the Baroness gets all weepy and says, "I want, can I have a hug?" And then
typical villain cliche.
Exactly.
Try to get them a weak moment, but she knew that she was going to try to do that.
Cruella did, yeah.
Always one step ahead. That Cruella is.
Yeah, and she's like, "You're not going to push me off the side, are you?" And the Baroness is like,
not knowing that her entire party was behind her.
How do you not look for one? That's so
stupid.
Down. But yeah, so she does. She pushes Stella, not Cruella.
She was fixated
Stella.
on wanting to kill this. She was fixated on wanting to kill her because she didn't think that anyone would notice that she was missing.
Oh, and before she does that too, remember she has the dogs go to attack her, the Dalmatians. The Baroness was going to have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and
they've been with Stella
because they
so
spent
long,
so much time with her. Yeah, that they listened to her.
And so that's when she decides she had to push her off herself after having this conversation. And she does. She pushes her over the side. Yep. Stella falls. Same way her mom died, and everyone's like, "I can't believe this bitch." And she's like, "Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh my God, she fell. She's like, I'm gonna faint." She's being over dramatic, and didn't work. Her ass got arrested.
Yeah, she didn't. She was not selling that, but I'm sure that was on purpose. But I was like, damn, that was a good setup, like for a movie. And the way that they were setting her up to end up
it was really good.
Getting caught red-handed, like that was a really awesome
I wasn't expecting
setup.
It to end like that. Like, I would have never.
Like, that was a good Disney move.
Yes.
Like I could always rely on Disney to pull
This
some
seems
shit
like this
that.
is deeper than a regular Disney movie, though. I feel like this is kind of ahead of its. Like this is a branch from what it normally would make, because this is just so deep. I think in different ways, and it does have a dark, grittier feel to it, but still PG-13.
Yeah, but they kept it like instead of holding your head underwater and drowning you with all this darkness shit, like they actually let you tread pretty much. They let you tread water the whole time.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, for sure.
You didn't really know if you were going to be stay afloat or if you were going to sink, but you knew that you had enough energy to just kind of stay there in the middle enough to breathe.
That's the same with the jokes. It kind of like you floated along on the waves. It was just a whole wave the whole time, but it was very well done. Which
Which made me be able to say also that the amount of time that it took them to get from the beginning to the end was an appropriate amount of time.
Oh yeah, I never once felt like, when is this movie over? When is this movie over? I was, it was smooth sailing the whole time. I think the pacing was pretty much the same from the beginning to the end. Not like crazy and not like, I felt very comfortable with the pacing.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty sad that nobody came to her funeral. That was pretty sad.
Well, before we get to her funeral, Stella falls off the cliff. Sure, she gets pushed off the cliff, and later, after the Baroness gets arrested and everything, we see how Stella technically survived, and she had like this parachute thing that she
Parachute
opened.
skirt.
Yeah, but when she landed in the water, it looked so lame. It looked so stupid. The effects looked so dumb. But
I agree.
So now at this point, they decide to have a funeral for Stella, and no one came except for Cruella, which is also Stella, but Stella's dead. Cruella is now permanent, and now the only people that were there was Cruella, Jasper, Horace, and the dogs, correct? I don't know if there was anybody else. Was John there?
No.
No, okay, because he was still back at the mansion. So then after the funeral, they go to get her inheritance, and she now is going to live at the Hellman Hall. But before going in, she drives up and takes the man part out of the Hellman Hall. So all it says is Hell Hall. And in between the space is the road. And Cruella drives up this road in between Hell and Hall. And I like that shot. That was cool.
Yep. And they played the Rolling Stones' Sympathy for the Devil.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. This music, just all the music throughout this whole movie. It was just.
Did you like the ending though? Did you like the last scene that they did?
Like that in the credits, or where do you mean?
No, like the very last scene they did before they rolled to the credits. When they were just like,
"Oh, we're in the house."
So
We're in the house.
So what?
Now
so
what?
now, Cruella?
Oh yeah.
Oh geez, I don't know. I got a few ideas.
That's exactly what she says. She's like, I got a few ideas. And the only thing that I did enjoy about that is because it did set up a sequel, but it was like a way of them saying, I don't know what the sequel's going to be about, but let's just make it seem like there's more.
Right. They wanted to show that there was a sequel, but they didn't have anything to play off of to bring in a sequel.
I think it would have been cooler if someone would have said something like, well, what now? And she would have just like, her back would have been turned towards the camera and she would have just turned around and just kind of smiled, or gave that laugh that she does.
I think that they should have had something ready to tease for, like they should have already thought of something to tease for number 2. That was.
Think that's where the dogs come into play. I think that's where the dogs come into play. I think that's part of the sequel.
Okay.
Because it goes to credits and then it goes to that little clip of them, some of the people she knew getting these puppies.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's foreshadowing them pretty much going into their own version of what 101 Dalmatians was.
It could be, because like I said, the name of that dog.
Which, I mean, would be unfortunate because then that brings it back to the animal cruelty thing again.
I don't think they'll figure out a different way around it, I think.
Yeah, so I think, like you were saying, I think that because of the way that they lined it up before, I don't see it going in that direction after this.
Yeah, no, not at all. No, not with her trying to be so animal friendly in this movie. They're not going to turn it around for the next one. There's no way.
I mean, shit, as long as they use CGI and they end up sending the right message at the end of it, I don't give a shit what they do.
No, I think they'll be clean about it. I think it'll be just a different kind of story. But I'm curious to see what that story is, because I mean, that's the movie. And me personally, I loved it. I want to watch it again, and I will watch it again, especially because Cameron didn't get to see it, so I will watch it with him again sometime.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it again, too.
I don't know if I'll probably wait until it's not $30 again, until it's just regular Disney Plus, but yeah, I liked it. I suggest anybody who's interested in movies in general just to watch it, because it is a good movie all around. Maybe not everyone's favorite, but there's definitely great things about it, and like I said, I think you will see this movie brought up in the Academy Awards, whether nominations and or awards. And with that being said, I wish I could give half points, half empty popcorn buckets, but with that,
I mean, we can switch to an out of 10 system. A lot of places do that to make it, more obvious. Like have it be able to give more separation between showing the difference between how they feel about movies. So if you want to switch to a 10, we can officially switch to a 10 empty popcorn bucket system here.
Okay. I'm down. I'm so down for a 10 because that way I don't have to give half.
Okay, hear ye, hear ye. This is an official notice that at this point forward, Don't Spill the Popcorn will be rating their movies out of 10 empty popcorn buckets. Let it be known. Let it be heard. Let it be done.
Good little intro. Good little information sound there. Anyways, we need to go back though, and we need to re-rate our other ones then, since for Army of the Dead and Spiral, we have to re-rate them because right now Army of the Dead for me is 3 out of 5. And Spiral for me is 2 out of 5. So before I give my rating for Cruella, I will re-give my rating for Army of the Dead because now we're doing 10. And I will give Army of the Dead a 5 out of 10 empty popcorn buckets. I'll sit that right in the middle. And for Spiral, I will give 3 empty popcorn buckets out of 10. That was almost a 4, but I'm going to go with a 3. And for Cruella, I am going to give an easy 8 out of 10 empty popcorn buckets.
There you have it. That is the Dylan Pickle Hoffman rating for Cruella. For my conclusionary thoughts are as follows. This movie was just such a nice, fun, bumpy, but jovial ride that just took me through this experience that I haven't gone on in a long time, that I would have had to go back and watch an old Disney movie to be able to go on. Disney hasn't really swept me off my feet in a while, and I think that between having Glenn Close being an executive producer on this, and they just bring in a lot of fun elements, and it's just a good popcorn eating, sit back, relax, because you're going to have a fun time, but you're also going to have a lot of emotional experiences in this movie because they know the pressure points to hit to really fill up a story appropriately and really send it on home. It didn't even need to be the best movie in the world, but Disney, for the most part, always knows how to tell a really good story, and when they get the opportunity to remake ones that do have a good story and they, pay good homage to the originals while putting a fair original twist on it, I just think that it was really nice to watch this movie. It felt good, and it felt so much better. I feel like I took a nice long bath after watching that piece of shit Spiral. Like, that's the garbage that got... Spiral is the banana that was on my face that I just decided to eat and make a review out of it and put it out there, dude. That's what happened.
Shut the hell up.
So in order to effectively get people to understand, that's what Spiral was. And so I guess with all that being said, and how much I really did love this movie, I actually am not going to agree with your 8 out of 10 empty popcorn buckets. I am going to bump mine down to a 7 out of 10 empty popcorn buckets.
Okay. That's fine. I almost thought you were going to go with a 9 out of 10, but 7 is totally okay.
I can't put into words right now why it's missing those 3 empty popcorn buckets, but there are definitely elements about it that I would have liked to have be different. Of some things about the story that I would have liked to be different. Some things about her character personally that I would have liked to have been different. That, the story wouldn't have, by the time that the story ended and we got to the end of the roadmap, obviously they did plan out the story perfectly, that everything that did happen happened for a reason. It happened exactly the way it needed to. And it would have been a completely different story if it went the way that in my head I wanted it to go. It wouldn't have been the same movie at all. So I'm all in all pretty happy with the movie that they chose it to be, opposed to the movie I would have chose it to be. But that means it's only 7 out of 10.
Hey, and that's okay. Everyone has their own opinions. Even if you said one empty popcorn bucket, I I can't say anything. Like, I mean, I would probably say something, but again, everyone has their own opinion. But you need to also now give your empty popcorn bucket review for Spiral and Army of the Dead. Tell us which one, where that falls now.
Okay, facts. I'm going to give Army of the Dead. I'm going to stick with you as well. 5 out of 10 empty popcorn buckets. That was a solid medium movie for sure. And just for Spiral, man, I'm gonna say, damn it, because I am right with you with the 3 empty popcorn buckets. But now that after we had that discussion and I even sat on it and thought about it and tried to look at some follow up, dude, I think 3 empty popcorn buckets. There, I said it.
You said it. So far we've matched.
I'm good because I can't deny the traps. I can't deny the traps. They're not the best.
That's the only reason why I got a 3. That's the only reason.
They're not the best, but they did a hella good job. And I still think that the story itself was good. I just wish that it would have been done better. I think that it was a good plot idea. I think that it could have been done really well, but I think that the way that the screenplay was written soiled it for the most part. I think that I blame most of it on the screenplayers and the screenplay writers, and maybe even how much that they allowed for the actors to improvise.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very good description of how you feel about it, because really, I think the story there is a story to be told there, especially with whatever's going on nowadays, and the traps, like I said, that's what you come for, and they were good, but they didn't have a lot, and I just can't make up for the others. I mean, the 3 stars is only for the traps at this point. Nothing else really for me.
Oh, the only other thing that I wanted to say was just like in the last one, usually movies have artists kind of make like the theme song for that. In the last film, it was 21 Savage who made the Spiral song for the movie Spiral. And in this one, it was actually Florence and the Machine that made the last song that was played that was called Call Me Cruella.
Oh, I actually liked that. That was nice. Yeah, I like Florence and the Machine too sometimes. Like some of their stuff's good.
Yeah, Florence and the Machine is great. Yeah. It's that time again. We get to another end of our episode. I can't even believe that we're saying we're on episode 3 right now. That's pretty cool. We're kind of worked our way into this. It's, the more episodes that we get into, the more established I feel, the more legitimate that this feels. So that is super duper cool. So like I was saying, we're at this point now, out of all the films that we've watched, is Army of the Dead your number 1 still?
Army of the Dead is not my number 1 still. I have to easily go with Cruella.
I am incredibly shocked.
Oh, really?
I am shocked and disturbed.
Because I picked a non-horror movie over...
It's like I don't even know you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, man, it's Dead to Rights. Cruella is definitely 10 out of 10. Not empty popcorn buckets.
I was going to say, what do you mean? Where you go with this 10 out of 10?
But out of the 3 movies... that's above all of them. Yeah, it towers over them easily. Between the money that they were able to put into it, the production itself, the callbacks to other films and other Disney references, and just the nostalgia alone, and a good storytelling and good music choice. Throw it all together with some good acting, you got a great movie, and that's exactly what this was. And Dylan, do we got anything coming up at all? Do we got these 4 walls popping up in any film festivals? Is there any new releases or anything coming out?
Not for me. I mean, the film festival thing's still happening. It's just it's on, just some of them are different, phases. So, before notifications and stuff like that. So I don't have any actually news.
Okay. Well, it looks like that we don't actually have too much going on right now. So
you either?
If you don't mind, no, I don't got anything going on.
Anything?
So yeah,
Okay.
We don't got anything going on. So if you just want to take some time to check out some of our own personal stuff, you can find me at Blum's Voyage on YouTube, and you can find Dylan at Spookboy709. And if you come hang out with us on those, you'll see some things that you would never imagine that you would have seen come from us. things like Disturbed Friend, Horrible 4,
Jesus. Yeah.
Horrible
Some of
4
our old
Resolution,
stuff. Yeah, those are nice ones.
Cellular Killer.
No.
Just
That's
to
not
name
on there
a few.
anymore. That's not on there anymore.
Cellular Killer is now the Pluto of the planets.
I get to watch that and no one else.
It has been removed. Never mind. Sorry. Didn't mean to let you down. That was the best one. That's why you took it down.
He's lying. He's lying. That's the most embarrassing.
The world was not ready for Cellular Killer.
It's already
It's your
outdated.
mom's least favorite one, I think.
I don't know why. It's not like I haven't, like, spoiler alert, died in any of my other films.
I know. Something's just different. That's just more real. That's more realistic, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's because back then it was one of my first ones and she's never seen something like that from me.
Yeah, maybe.
Or she was just
Maybe.
like, this is so bad, I'm crying.
And now she saw her son get sucked up into a mailbox and a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I get sucked up in a lot of stuff. I gotta avoid that.
I'm going to transfer over into the end of the episode by letting you know that whenever we sit down next time and watch this movie, I'm going to crack open a Monster and I'm going to eat some delicious food, crank up the volume, lean back, knock over a glass of wine, spill my popcorn, and yell to the movie gods that I've made the great mistake that we should never make. Don't spill the popcorn! Yeah, I think I'm square. Are you square?
I'm square. We can always talk about it in the middle if we have to.
Yeah, sure thing.
All right.
All right. I switched to circle. Are you circle or are you still going to be square?
What? What?
All right, dude. Let's.
Oh, we're the square. Okay, yeah. I get it now.
No. Let's do this shit.
Okay.
Don't spill the motherfucking popcorn.
All right.
Episode 3, Cruella.
Pumped. All right, let's do it. Okay, ready?
Yeah, go ahead, dude. Kick her us off.
Don't laugh at me. I'm gonna try to do this thing. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix it. Okay, you might have to. I might do it a couple times. Okay, thanks.
Good luck.
Hey, cinema.
Oh fuck! I already fucked it up. Okay. All right, let me do it. Hold on. Okay.
Holy shit.
You can currently reach us with. Oh my shit! This is gonna be not a long night. We're gonna get this. Okay, we're gonna. I'm just helping the bloopers.
Yeah, you're like, could you set Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music?
Oh. Yes. Okay. Let me do it again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this is so stupid. All right.
We do not clap to no avail. There is a purpose to our claps.
Perfect. Yeah, Cameron and I are going to have a viewing again of all of them before Scream 5 comes out. I'm sorry, Scream.
One single scream.
Oh.
You scared yourself. Jack Black would go straight for just straight tongue. He'd just go right in for it. He'd just do it.
Maybe some nipple licks. I think he's a nipple
And
lip,
flicks. Licks and
licker?
flicks.
Oh, and a flick. Oh, maybe like those little clips. You put a little clip on there.
Holy shit. And what about bedazzles? Do you think they'd
Oh,
bedazzle?
you're gonna bedazzle your boobs.
It just made me think when we couldn't think of bedazzled for our commentary.
Bejeweled.
Oh,
Bejeweled,
no.
I said bejeweled.
Bejeweling. Bejeweling. What is a bejewel?
I don't know. It's a cross between Oh, now I don't even know it's a real thing. What was the other thing?
I feel
Bedazzle.
Bedazzling, yeah.
Bedazzle. It's a
Bedazzling,
bedazzle and like a jewel pen that you smoke.
It's a bedazzle, yeah. 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 Jesus Christ. And Sony is in love with him since they made him a part of the the new Jurassic Park movies and what he's done for those movies. Sony loves him.
You mean Jumanji?
For the Jumanji.
Oh my god. I can't. It's 1. We gotta go. Do this arty thing. I gotta go to bed, dude.
Now, didn't that just sound real good?
Wow, nice. It did sound
That's
very
how
good.
that's going to start.
It did sound very nice.
Yeah. That's an inside joke from the first episode bloopers. If you happen to be a longtime fan with us at this point.
Wait, did we say that?
God, you're making a blooper right now.
Well, I don't. Wait, what did you say? Well, how did you say?
Remember when you said that after the very first trailer, you're like, and doesn't that sound good? Like you didn't know what to say. You didn't know what to say after the trailer was over to kind of kick off talking.
I'm gonna have to listen to it again. I keep missing all this stuff.
You don't remember that?
I listened to all these too, like
again,
sometimes multiple times, and I don't know. My brain.
Yeah, you're laughing so hard. We were laughing so hard about it because you're like, and don't that just sound real good?
Okay, well, hey, guess what?
Oh my god!
Now I'll hear it this time around too.
Idiot. But anyway, that's how I'm starting off this spoiler section, the spoiler-free section.
Okay, go ahead.
But I felt short of the mark. Sometimes I really don't understand how movies like this get the green light. That was the worst.
Dude, I think mine's not any better. We need to go to some classes.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I haven't done voices or impressions in a long time. Will be Miss Trumbull in the upcoming Matilda remake.
It's Trunchbull.
How does that make you feel?
It's Trunchbull.
Why does it say Trumbull?
I don't know.
Why was it Trumbull?
It's Trunchbull, though.
Why did you let me read it then?
Because I didn't read yours. Like, I read it, but I read it as Trunchbull because I'm used to it. I'm beautiful. I said I'm beautiful. I meant to say they're beautiful and I'm jealous. But my brain said that I'm beautiful.
I'm beautiful. Me. This is about me.
It's always been about me. Excuse me. Are you okay? Joe is dying, so the show might not go anymore. You hear him coughing? Yeah, he's dying. Well, guys, it was nice. Thanks for watching these, 2 episodes, because you probably wouldn't get this one if he dies, because I'm not editing this shit. She's feeding the devil? Is that her? She looks horrible, doesn't she?
That name game. Dylan ain't got that name game.
But they don't have the dog here on IMDb, so they just have to bear with me.
No, we don't got that name game. A nice little monologue there with her mom. Oh, fucking A. I just dumped wine all over me, and this thing fell over, and I am soaked. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab a towel real quick. Oh, god damn it. On my fucking notebook too, dude. Catherine Zeta-Jones. She sleeps beneath the laser. Oh.
She has entrapped me and Sean Connery. Whoa.
Jesus Christ. This one was under 4 hours. It was under 3 hours. We have 30 seconds to hit the stop button before it hits 3 hours. So we should just end it. Yes.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay.
Yep. And I'm going to shit my pride out later and flush it down the toilet.
What happened?
You should probably come over here.
Ha 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 ha. All right. We're just gonna keep doing this all night.
Yeah, we probably could.
And that's our review, guys.
Da 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 da.
Da.